Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is going to be another collection video of my horror titles, so the horror shelves that are on the wall behind me here. So I'm doing these videos by decade, so most of you I think probably would have come over from probably the previous ones I've done. I've done the 70s and just a few before that in terms of year. I've done my 80s one, I've done my 90s one. So we're on to the 2000s. So 2000s for me, like I've mentioned a few times on the channel now, I was born in 85. So I would have been 15, I think it was, when the year 2000 hit. So I could buy my first, properly, legally buy my first 15 horror movies. So I could crank it up a little bit without having to get sort of, mums, dads, uncles and stuff to go and buy stuff for me. Some of the reins were off in my movie collection, so I was away. I could even get away with some 18s quite often because I was kind of an old looking chap back then. And now, obviously, but... yeah, so yeah, this is my 2000s. There's going to be a lot in here that, I can't deny they're probably crap to a lot of people, but for me they had a special place because it's part of my movie history personally growing up in that age bracket of 15-year-olds, going up to, so I guess in my 20s, right? So yeah, year 2000s, let's kick it off. So I don't spend a lot of time on these ones. I should just flash them and go because I will be here all day. It'll be such a long video, but... well, I will just say, so I did have somewhere, or I've got somewhere, I can't find it. I have got 28 days later somewhere, I just can't find a thing. Next one is 28 weeks later. I haven't thought through where I'm putting these yet, so. 30 Days of Nights with Josh Hartnett. 1408, this is an import version, I think. I'm not sure you can get it in the UK, so I had to import this one, I think. But yeah, 1408, obviously a really good, creepy movie, haunted sort of movie with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. 2001 Maniacs. Now, I love this film. Again, this is one that a lot of people consider trash, but this one is, it's the obviously 2000s remake of the other one. It's got, who's it got in there? Robert Englund's in this one. Just everything, epitomises everything about the 2000s horror that I grew up and started to enjoy. Obviously, if you're older than me, you're probably like 2000s horror was not a big thing for you. You probably were turning your nose up a lot of that, and probably still are maybe. But yeah, for me, it was just my first entry into horror, so a lot of these have a special place for me. All the Boys Love Mandy Lane with Amber Heard. The reboot of Amityville Horror, or remake, I should say. Bad Biology, one I didn't grow up with. This one was one I just got to quite recently, thanks to, who put this one out? Severin. So yeah, Severin put this out in the UK. Really enjoyed that one. It's really, really fun and odd movie. Stuff in there you've never seen before, I guarantee it. Battle Royale. The Black Christmas or Black Xmas. So this one, it's a terrible film, I can't deny. I don't know why. I think the cast, because the cast were young and fresh and I sort of grew up with them. When I see their faces in there, I'm drawn to it. I don't know why. A Black Sheep, so yeah, really good sort of comedy horror type thing there. I got Black Water, so yeah, really good creature feature. So this one I haven't gone back to in a long time, but this one is Bless the Child. Who was in this one? Oh, Kim Basinger, or Basinger, however you go with that one. Christina Ricci. Yeah, I remember watching it back in the day, but I haven't gone back to it since then, so it does need a rewatch. Yeah, you probably have seen it maybe more than me. So this is Boogeyman, another one of these sort of like 2000s horrors, obviously, that just lots of quick cuts, I think, and jump scares and everything that I was growing up enjoying at the time. The Box with Cameron Diaz, not to give you, there's another one that's very similar to this, but I can't think what it is, but this is the one that's more horror based, I think. Bug, so this is the one, this is an import one, this is the William Friedkin movie, Bug. Again, I've seen that one once, but I haven't gone back to it. Absolute favourite of mine, Cabin Fever, the original Cabin Fever, the director's cut. So yeah, really enjoyed this one, body horror, that shaving scene sticks with you for years. Cabin Fever 2, I think famously Ty West directed this one, but then basically wanted to get rid of it from his career because I think studio interference and things were just not going his way. It was a very early movie for him, but yeah, I still get some enjoyment out of it, again, because of the decade, because of the aesthetic of the whole movie, the thing it's following on from the first one, which I love so much. Captivity, again, one of these ones I watched back in the day with Elisha Cuthbert, but I haven't gone back to in the longest time, so that should go on the rewatch piles, to be fair, pretty soon. The Collector, so everyone always tells me how good these ones are, and I think there's a sequel. I'll be honest, I've watched this one, but I can't really remember it, to be honest with you. Another rewatch. Now Creep, so again, if you follow my channel, and you've probably seen me pick this one up and speak about the director Christopher Smith quite a lot. So yeah, really enjoy this one, the London Underground based horror movie. So this one is a bit of a bodge job for me putting this one together. So this one is Crocodile. So this is the DVD sleeve. I've just basically tucked it into a Blu-ray sleeve. I was trying something out there to see whether it would just have a bit more uniformity on the shelf back then. But yeah, now this is, I can't sell this to anyone really because I'm pretty sure it is terrible, but it's my kind of terrible. It's a creature feature, bad CGI effects from the early 2000s. Pretty sure it's directed by Tobe Hooper, right? Yeah, Tobe Hooper, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sorry about that. That, as my good friend Bumper would say, is a glitch in the Matrix there. I don't know what happened. It's I got cut off by my own recording. I'm glad I noticed I didn't just waffle on for the next half an hour because that would have been really annoying. Anyway, so yeah, directed by Tobe Hooper, this one. So it doesn't really get talked about, probably because it's that bad, but I get a kick out of it. Another one here, Cry Wolf. I haven't gone back to this one in the longest time, but I do want to go back to this one, check this one out. Was this Wes Craven? I feel like this was Wes Craven. No, it was not. I'm talking out my back pocket. So, no. Next one is Dawn of the Dead. So this is obviously the reboot of Dawn of the Dead. Remake, I keep saying reboot. And Day of the Dead. Another one of those of the Dead series. Next one is Dead Girl. So yeah, pretty controversial movie, this one, about a corpse of a girl. Obviously these two lads go in and discover it and get up to all sorts of things they shouldn't. Next one is The Descent. So a really good movie, this one, underground creepy cave kind of dive-in movie with creature features. The Devil's Rejects. Diary of a Dead. Donkey Punch. I kind of put that in horror because it's quite horrific in places. Some people may not. Doomsday. Drag Me to Hell. I think famously that disc is really temperamental or doesn't play very often. I can't remember if I've actually tried that disc. Eden Lake. Really good dark horror, I would say. Exam. Eight-Legged Freaks. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The Eye with Jessica Alba. Feast. Final Destination. Really enjoy these movies. Final Destination 2. Final Destination 3. Final Destination 5? I'm not sure what happened to number 4. The Fog. Terrible film, terrible remake, but at the time Tom Welling was pretty big. The Fourth Kind, alien abduction type movie. Frailty, so I have seen this one, it's just I've imported it and just haven't watched the disc yet. Freddy vs Jason, I remember going to the cinema on my own for one of the first times to watch this one. Late at night, and I think all my family were away. Absolutely, it was two horror icons for me that were clashing at the time where I was getting into horror. Couldn't have been more perfect for me, this one. So, From Hell. Frontiers, so a French extreme film. Funny Games, so this is I think it's the American remake, but yeah, this one is, dark, surreal in places, but yeah, really dark. The Notorious Ghosts of Mars, the film I love to hate, but somehow just keep coming back. I've bought and sold this film about 4 times now, I think. Yeah, that's the first shelf, so I'm going to quickly put them back and grab the next shelf. Okay, so following on from those, we've got the Ginger Dead Man, so a full moon kind of picture there. It's just dumb fun. The Ginger Snaps trilogy, so yeah, really nice set, this one. We've got Gothica. Got the Ju-on or the Grudge set, so yeah, you got all the Grudge movies in there. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. I think this one has basically different cuts. You got the unrated and theatrical cuts of both movies in there. You've got the Hatchet, so yeah, really good fun movies. These ones are slasher movies, sort of like Monster in the Woods kind of deal. The Haunting in Connecticut, another one I haven't seen in a long time. High Tension, really enjoy this one, another French Extreme. The Hills Have Eyes remake, I probably enjoy this one more than the original one personally. Hills Have Eyes 2. The Hills Run Red, so these, I think Hills Run Red, I want to say that was part of, was it Dark Castle Entertainment or something like that? So Dark Castle was a big part of my horror kind of like growing up, because that was responsible for a lot of my my probably poor taste in horror movies. I think Gothica was part of that label as well, or that company. The Hole, so this is only a 12, but I think this is sort of a, is it the Joe Dante one? Yeah, Joe Dante one, so it's a little bit dark. I put it in the horror. I need to rewatch it to confirm if it's a horror or not. So this is the Hollow Man set, so Hollow Man 1 and 2. Good to see Jodie had this from Jodie's Movie Realm. Hollow Man 1 on her underrated movies the other week. But yep, this one is Hollow Man 1 and 2 set in a nice box. You got Hostel, so yep, this one was notorious back in, well, probably still is now, just being brutal. Hostel Part 2. The House of the Devil, so this was my first introduction, I think, to Ty West, was it? Sure, it's Ty West, so before I start talking out my back pocket again. So, yep, Ty West movie. So I remember putting this movie on, and I genuinely thought, when it was playing, I thought it was a movie that was made back in the 70s or 80s, that I just somehow completely missed. And I had to literally get out IMDb and check the release date, and it was all made in sort of like, obviously the 2000s. So yeah, really good job on the look of that movie. Now these are some guilty pleasures right here. House of Wax with Paris Hilton, and then you got Return to House on Haunted Hill, which I wasn't really watching back in the day. It just came in this set, so I have watched it since. It was okay, I can't really remember it. And then Ghost Ship, which I watched or rewatched recently. Really good opening, but the rest of the movie is a bit like, there we go. Human Centipede. This blew my mind when I watched this one. I was like, wow, someone went there. Hush, so this one, I think this was recommended to me by Tim or Marcus, or both, I can't remember now, from other different channels. I'll try and link it down below in the description. Identity. Inside, so another French Extreme movie. You got The Invasion, which is arguably not horror, more of a sci-fi thing, but body snatching type thing, so I kind of put it in the horror section. Now, this is Irreversible, obviously. Now, I know my buddy from Real Talk Yorkshire, I'll try and link him down below as well. He mentioned the other day on one of the comments that it always makes him chuckle when he sees this in the background of my videos, because, yeah, he thinks I'm kind of like quite a chilled out, kind of relaxed kind of guy, and he wouldn't put this movie associated with me personally. I told him, you got to watch out for the quiet ones, right? It's the quiet ones that you got to watch out for, as they say. So, yeah, that one, Irreversible. The Isle, so a fairly recent pickup for me. Really enjoyed this one. Jason X came out with my generation. This is the one. If you haven't gone to space in a horror franchise, you haven't made it. Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers 2. Jennifer's Body. One of my favourites, Lake Mungo. Land of the Dead. Last House on the Left. Let the Right One In. Long Time Dead. Lover's Lane. May, so yeah, really good. Marches. Midnight Meat Train. Mimic 2, Mirrors, The Mist, Monster Man, My Bloody Valentine 3D, and Night of the Demons, not to be confused with the original one of this. Next shelf. Okay, so the last shelf of the 2000s movies is The Omen. One Missed Call. I saw this at the cinema, I thought it was absolutely terrible. I have no idea why I picked it up. Orphan. Orphanage. The Others. Paradise Lost. Really enjoyed this one. Paranormal Activity, an all-time favourite for me. Pathology. Perfect Getaway, another good adventure horror. Prom Night. Quarantine, which is basically the remake of Wreck. The Reaping. Wreck. Wreck 2. Resident Evil. The Return. Ring, or The Ring. Roadkill, otherwise known as Joyride, I think. Rogue, is it? Rogue? Creature feature, that one. The Ruins. The Saw Collection. So this has got Saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the final chapter being number 7. Scream 3. See No Evil, is that right? Yep, See No Evil. Session 9, another spooky kind of creepy movie. Severance, one of my all-time favourite comedy horrors, Danny Dyer. Another Christopher Smith film. Silent Hill. The Skeleton Key. Slither. Sorority Row, which is the remake, I think, of The House on Sorority Row. It was okay back in the day. I need to go back to it. I don't think it's great. Splice. Splinter. The Strangers. Straighter Heads or Straight Heads? Straight Heads, I think that's called. Underrated, not talked about kind of movie with Danny Dyer and Gillian Anderson. Quite hard to come across, I think, now, to pick up in the UK anyway. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. It's a little bit like a Straw Dogs type feel of a movie. Not the exact same premise, but close. You got Storm Warning. You got Teeth. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Really enjoyed this one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Them, another creepy kind of like, always reminds me of Eden Lake, this one. Always put them in a similar sort of thing in my head. 13 Ghosts, one of the most best, worst guilty pleasure movies of this era for me personally. Yeah, really enjoyed that one. Triangle, another Christopher Smith film. Trick or Treat, or Trick or Treat I should say. The Unborn, haven't gone back to that one in a long time. The Uninvited, another one I need to revisit because I can't remember it. Vacancy. Valentine, which when I went back to, this one I watched back in the day and I just kind of like shunned it off a little bit, it wasn't that amazing, but then I rewatched it recently and actually this holds up really well, I think. It was a lot better than I remember. Van Helsing. Welcome to the Jungle. It's like a cannibal movie. And White Noise with Michael Keaton. Nearly forgot. The terrible but highly watchable Nicolas Cage Wicker Man remake. You're watching it for the wrong reasons, I must admit. Wolf Creek. Wrong Turn, absolutely love this film. And then A Wrong Turn 1 to 5. I can't remember why I've got this one separately. Anyway, 1 to 5, very kindly sent to me by a subscriber years ago. Chris, so if you're watching, thank you again, Chris, for these. And that is it now. So that is my 2000s collection of horror movies. Hope you've enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you again for the next one, which will be the 2010s and the 2020s, and we're kind of up to speed with where we're at now. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.